girl.
Right, y'all, welcome back to Common Arms channel. Okay, so today we're checking out a video from Popo Medic. You guys already know it's going to be freaking awesome. Now, this is a story that I'm somewhat familiar with. Okay, I'll use that term loosely. But I knew that this happened early on in the global war on terror, and I'm familiar with the story of PFC Jessica Lynch. Now, I'm not exactly sure the details surrounding it. I know she was part of a convoy. It took a wrong turn, or I don't know, something happened where they kind of got separated and they got ambushed. And from there, I guess things got even worse. Some Americans were taken hostage, and then there was a task force that was organized to actually rescue them. But it looks like, now that I'm looking at the description, it has pretty much everything I just said. But yeah, I'm excited to see more of the details because it looks like the Navy SEALs and Delta were involved, and 160th SOAR and PJs. Okay, so basically a lot of high-speed dudes were involved in this. So I'm excited. I know you guys are excited. It's Popo Medic. It's going to be legit. Let's check it out.
Saturday, March 23rd, 2003. An Army private
2003.
wakes up inside an Iraqi hospital, confused and severely injured, taken prisoner of war after her unit was separated from a convoy and ambushed
Nice
in
editing.
Nasiriyah, Iraq. And the missing private's family anxiously awaited to learn the fate of their daughter. And after 9 days of captivity, Special Operations Command acquired intel on her whereabouts at the hospital.
Hell yeah. This is cool too because this is like early Iraq. Man, nobody was messing around at this point. And 9 days of captivity is never going to be fun. But yeah, getting a task force organized in that amount of time is not that common from my understanding. It might have been a little bit more common back then, but yeah, this is going to be pretty sweet when you get all these hitters together.
A team of Navy SEALs, Air Force PJs, Army Rangers, and Delta Force operators
Jeez.
raided the hospital, breaching any and all doors in a daring rescue mission to recover and bring home Private First Class Jessica Lynch. This is the declassified story and footage of the rescue.
Hell yeah. So they were all hitting the hospital at the same time? I wonder why they had a bunch of different branches and services doing this, and not just like multiple teams from one branch or agency. It's pretty freaking badass.
I got the little birds in holding. We're gonna go up toward them and then the chest you won't land out.
Okay, what is this?
Come on, man, let's get this girl.
Hell yeah, that's fucking awesome. I'm hyped. Super hyped. I don't know what that footage was, if that was like legit from back then. I'm not familiar with that area of Iraq though.
From humble beginnings, hailing out of Palestine, West Virginia, is Jessica Lynch.
Palestine, West Virginia.
And her family, like most families, struggled financially. And in the year 2000, the Lynch family, determined to get their kids the education they deserved, met with an Army recruiter when Jessica was 17 years old.
Okay. Okay.
And in July of 2001, Jessica enlisted in the United States Army.
July 2000. Okay, dang. Right before September 11th.
She picked the MOS of a 92 Yankee, a supply clerk, giving her parents an extra peace of mind. And after all, America was in peacetime.
Yeah, exactly. Ooh, okay, nice shift. What's going on? It's like a roller coaster. Nice clips though, the old school stuff too. Or it's just edited to look old school. Oh, I know where this is going. Oh my gosh, the build-up is messed up. Especially when you know what's happening. That clip is iconic.
And just like that, the Lynch family saw their daughter off to war. And only 2 years later, in March of 2003, Jessica was deployed and found herself at the confluence of the invasion of Iraq.
Hey, even as supply back then, especially early on in the war, like you didn't know what you were getting up to. And you have to think it wasn't like all these established bases all over this area. Like that didn't exist. So they didn't necessarily have the, not even the comforts, but the security that you would see, you know, modern day. Maybe not modern day, but, you know, maybe in like 2017, later on in the global war on terror. I wonder how long their deployments were back then.
On March 23rd, Jessica was part of a 100-mile-long, 600-vehicle convoy. She was attached to the 507th Maintenance Company when her unit became separated from the convoy after making a wrong turn. The Humvee, which Jessica was traveling in, driven by Lori Piestewa, was ambushed near Nasiriyah, a major crossing point over the Euphrates River. Lori Piestewa drove at a high rate of speed to evade the torrent of gunfire, but in a matter of seconds, the Humvee was hit by an RPG, sending the Humvee crashing into the rear of a tractor trailer. 3 inside were killed on impact. Lori Piestewa, Shoshana Johnson, and Jessica Lynch survived, but were severely injured. Johnson, along with Private First Class Patrick Miller, would soon be stashed in various locations throughout Iraq.
What's your name? Shana?
And after the ambush, the Iraqis went back to check the vehicles and found Jessica Lynch and Lori Piestewa alive but in grave condition. They were both taken prisoner, and the families of the 507th anxiously awaited news of their missing loved ones.
There was no time for proper
Damn, it happened quick.
for the 507. War meant they had to focus on the next military objective. What do you think the fate of a woman is in the hands of Saddam Hussein?
She's got to be scared. It's common sense what's going to happen to female prisoners of war. It's inevitable.
Jessica Lynch and Lori Piestewa were taken to a Nasiriyah hospital. The Iraqi forces, otherwise known as the Fedayeen, were not stupid by any means. They knew exactly how
I really hope that wasn't their combat uniform. Actually, I do. I mean, by all means.
far Americans would and wouldn't go. They would use buses to move around the city, as they understood U.S. troops wouldn't attack a civilian bus, and they applied this method to their staging areas and compounds, such as schools and hospitals.
Yeah,
the
of
hospital
course.
where they stashed Jessica and Lori. Although some of the hospital employees still remained and reportedly attempted to help the wounded Americans by applying bandages and administering IVs, it seems they may have done more harm than good, as Lori Piestewa, inadequately treated by doctors, succumbed to her wounds.
Oh, that's messed up, dude.
And as for Jessica, she finally came to at the hospital and observed Iraqi men standing over top of her. And as she tried to flee, she realized in that moment she couldn't move. And the
Yeah, I wonder if they're gonna go over the injuries, but I mean, you can imagine you're gonna get pretty messed up in an attack like that, and then waking up and seeing, you know, a bunch of Iraqis, like the enemy sort of around you, and you can't do anything. I mean, I don't know if she was like tied down or what have you, but yeah, when you're that beat up and you're still trying to like sort of get out of there or fight back, and yeah, you might feel pretty helpless, and that's gotta be a terrifying feeling. I wonder if she wrote like memoirs about this.
severity of her wounds.
Jeez, everything is broken. Yeah, you're not
Two
going to
of
be
the
doing much
men in the
movement.
hospital attempted to amputate Jessica's leg. Jessica fought them off with an oxygen mask, begging the men to leave her alone. And somehow, they eventually did.
The fact that she was fighting them off with an oxygen mask is pretty badass,
Would
though.
continue over the next week. There are several different accounts of what exactly occurred at the hospital. The hospital staff, including Dr. Harith al-Hassona, reported to have shielded her from the Iraqi forces who overtook their hospital. Yet other accounts report that Jessica was beaten by Iraqi forces. It's my understanding that Jessica's account of what happened is somewhere in the middle.
Okay.
As on March 30th, Dr. al-Hassona reportedly attempted to deliver Jessica back to U.S. forces.
No
via
kidding.
ambulance. However, the ambulance was fired upon, and she was returned to the hospital and left abandoned within. Alone,
That
she
sucks.
feared she would die in the hospital. either at the hands of the Fedayeen or all likeliness of the building being bombed in the crossfires of a war.
True.
With what little hope she had, she held on to it. And as fate would have it, an Iraqi civilian tipped off a group of Marines. The man's claims were validated, and the man was sent back to the hospital to gather intel.
No kidding. Damn, this is a lot more complicated than I thought. Like it's kind of cool how they're, being compassionate and whatnot, trying to get her back to the U.S. forces. Because, yeah, they can probably see she's probably not being treated too well.
And the op was made. A team of Navy SEALs and an element from the Joint Special Operations Task Force 121, composed of U.S. Army Special Forces Green Berets, Air Force PJs, Army Rangers, 160th Special Operations Aviation Regiment, and Delta Force, coordinated the operation. And fun fact, former Navy SEAL Andy Stumpf was part of this team, which is, I think that's pretty cool. Intelligence gathered at the time,
I don't even know who that is,
reported
but
that the hospital could potentially hold 500
check it
plus
out.
Fedayeen adversaries. The ops team ran scenarios through tape outlines of the hospital blueprints. They knew where the doors and stairs were.
Blueprints, okay.
The op would run a decoy in the streets, directing overt actions away from the hospital. Smaller birds would land on the roof and deploy snipers, while a half-gaff of Black Hawk helicopters and a Humvee ground crew would rendezvous directly at the hospital and make entry. The plan was just about as perfect as the plan could be. And on the evening of April 1st, a team of special operators raided the hospital to save Private Jessica Lynch.
This is going to be sick. I want to see what kind of footage he has, though. Or if they do any interviews.
Looking good, real good. You could probably start swinging, Tony. Looking at 3 o'clock. Now to R2, we're going to start swinging for the building. Roger, you're clear.
Nice.
Go past them, John. They should be stopping right now. I'm okay. You're looking good.
Oh, I love the radio chatter.
Okay, looking good, John. I got you at 96, 80%. Got the shaft. Looking good. Tony, searching the highway. Looking good, John. 100 feet. Power, 87. Coming right over the building.
Dude, this is sick.
I'm okay. Over the building.
That's it right there. It's starting. Okay. Ropes are out, so they're fast roping down onto the roof. Damn, the old school thermals too. And gnarly. Wait, so what time did this happen? I might have said, but I wasn't paying attention. So I wonder if there was any contact at this point. Dude, imagine being in the hospital and these guys are all swarming you. Like, at that point, are you really going to fight back? Now, an operation like this doesn't happen too often where you have all these guys raiding this building at once. So, yeah, getting all that crosstalk and that coordination must have been really impressive to watch. All that planning, especially hitting a hospital and everyone having like probably slightly different tasks assigned or different locations in the hospital. It's pretty awesome. I would have loved to sort of get some of the footage or like the prep footage of them kind of going through the house mock-up that they made. And they didn't have, like, that's not much time to prepare.
Keep an eye on that corner right out there about 9:30, 10 o'clock.
And you can hear how calm they are with everything.
Yeah, sure it is. You have had seen just a little bit of tracer fire going from our tail.
Okay, so definitely some contact.
Should be good. They're winning lights. Or at least the outside lights.
Okay, lights going off. Dude, this is so cool. Look at that. Dude, if you're inside, you're just going to be barricading yourself at this point.
This is impressive.
Yeah. No kidding. They even recognize that. Okay.
Okay, they're setting up blocking positions off to the right. All
What's
your
that?
weapons are holding to the right. All your weapons are holding period right now. Roger.
I'm curious. It doesn't look like He has a weapon. So I'm wondering what his job is. Huh. I guess it's an SOP for them to close the doors and stuff. And I wonder what is going on there. I imagine back then they didn't have like any sort of GoPros or anything. Oh.
Touchdown.
They got her already. Nice. That's sick.
Moving this way.
Okay, right now we've got Kilo prominent up both radios.
Hell yeah,
This
dude.
stack there to the left.
This footage is freaking awesome.
Please go here, sir. Okay.
I got the little bird that told me. I'm gonna go up.
Oh, dude, and they're the bird that got her too.
Okay, I see.
Imagine at this point the PJs are treating her and stuff.
Roger, SoCal. That's we'll be landing Bravo taxiway, intersection Bravo Delta.
Just like that, man. Yeah, like you were saying, that is definitely impressive. I wonder what the overall operation length was. Looked like it couldn't have been more than 20 minutes. Hell yeah, dude. Dude, I don't know if you guys understand how cool I think this is. Retro footage is one thing, but stuff like this is sweet, especially with the story behind it.
The operation went as smooth as possible. The intel of the 500-plus Fedayeen was a bust. However, according to the acting inspector general of the DoD at the time, the team received enemy fire from the hospital and the surrounding buildings, but neutralized the threat without suffering casualties. 11 bodies were recovered at the same time of Lynch's rescue, 9 from a shallow grave site and 2 from the hospital morgue, including the body of Lori Piester.
Damn.
On April 3rd, Jessica arrived in Germany and had her first round of surgeries. On April 12th, she returned to the United States to Walter Reed Medical Center. And on July 21st, she's presented with the Bronze Star, Purple Heart, and POW medals.
Oh yeah, the
for her
POW
service
medal.
in captivity
True.
in Iraq. And on July 22nd, Jessica Lynch is discharged from Walter Reed Medical Center and is finally brought home.
Damn, July 22nd. That must have been a hard few months, though. You gotta think. Physically and mentally.
Take me back to the old dirt road.
Oh, nice. They brought her home and stuff.
Used to go. Let's sing all
That's
the
awesome.
songs from a long time ago, and pine for them old days of yore.
I like how the cameraman and stuff, they're being pretty respectful, keeping their distance and whatnot.
On the trees, let me fly like the leaves when they fall.
Hell yeah, very American. Good stuff. The old Mustangs.
That runs from the mountain so tall. Oh, take me back
Awesome.
down the old dirt road.
Oh yeah, dude, that POW medal, Purple Heart, Bronze Star, jeez. That is a story right there. Again, like, having the story is one thing, but having, like, some footage is freaking awesome. Especially of all those guys.
Well, take me home to rest where the mockingbirds nest and to cry through the green in the spring. Let's go back a ways to the old bygone days and the simple time we lived back when. Well, let the pull of the plow bring the sweat from
Wait, so are these the soldiers that were killed during the ambush? I don't know, is this many?
Let me wind down my days in the sweet dusty haze. Take me back down the old dirt road. Oh, take me back down the old dirt road.
Good to hear. Dude, that's awesome.
The old dirt road.
Good stuff, Marines. Nice.
Great, Jessica. You're doing wonderful, okay? Welcome back.
Dude, imagine the thoughts going through her head.
Hey guys, if you enjoyed this video, be sure to hit that
Hell
subscribe
yeah,
button.
dude.
There's a lot more.
Hopomatic, man, I gotta say, that was a great story to choose for one, but also the editing really does add to it. Like, definitely some feels in that video. Now, of course, it's always cool when you have all of these like really high speed dudes, like special forces, come together and assembling this task force to do a mission like this. But again, understanding the story behind it and what they're really going after, you can really understand like their motivations, especially again, early on in the global war on terror, like people were not messing about. So when something like this happened and you can see them actually forming this task force to go out there and get it, it's awesome. Now, of course, you don't want to leave anyone behind, but the fact that they had that intel of there being that many fighters and they still went and did the thing is very impressive. It goes to show the mentality of the people in these organizations. And again, having the footage just corroborates everything that you hear about, because you can really see their planning and their training go together, because it looked like it was pretty freaking smooth. So again, I would like to hear some more perspectives and like personal stories of people that took parts, or of course hers if she did write about it. But that was a great story. And there's a lot out there, you know, in the global war on terror. And it's kind of cool when people like Popomedic, who have the ability and respect to put these stories out there so we can sort of, you know, learn about it and kind of educate ourselves on what was going on. So yeah, very cool. Hopefully you guys enjoyed it. If you guys have any other information to share about this story specifically, or if you sort of knew, like if you were in the military at this point and you kind of heard about it or knew what was going down or saw some of the news like broadcast, let me know how that was. But yeah, this was a very interesting time, especially the early global war on terror in general. Of course, you can imagine she probably didn't expect 9/11 to happen. But yeah, she's joining in peacetime, and then all of a sudden this happens, and that's it. All of a sudden you're engulfed in the global war on terror. And yeah, it's a very interesting time, and there's a lot of awesome individuals, a lot of awesome stories. So hopefully we can check out more on the channel. If you guys have anything to recommend, definitely throw it down below. But yeah, hopefully you guys enjoyed the video. I'll put the original video down in the description so you guys can go over and check out Popomedic. But that is it for this video. I'll see you on the next one.